Good afternoon. This is Veterans Talk. It ain't nothing but a thing, but it's a thing we want you to tune into every Saturday afternoon. I'm Elsa McGee, your host, and I'm here today with my co-host and partner in crime, just like every week we can. Hey, Tony.
How you doing?
I'm doing, but I don't know how, but by the grace of God. This is a blessed day for me, Tony. I mean, I got my baby in the, when I say my baby, I'm talking about my daughter in the audience. And I got my granddaughter and my great-granddaughter. I got 3 generations of myself in there. So, I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed. But the plight of veterans in the USA and the USA with the plight of veterans is still a dismal conversation that we want on every table in the community, because the VA and Social Security has screwed up to the point that Congress is really looking at it. The VA has impacted over 60,000 veterans and their families with missed payments, overpayments, underpayments, and it's all their staff fault. It ain't no fault of the veteran or the citizens. It's the fault of the system, where we got understaffed and underpaid. Understaffed and underpaid.
Yeah.
And you know what? The staff that they got, some of it is incompetent because they ain't trained them properly. So the whole movement with the plight of veterans suffers for this reason. And we need to keep it open and in conversation in our community, because we talking about billions of dollars of income that's being diverted from our community. Mm-hmm. I look at this 60,000 veterans and families impacted by this with the Social Security and VA alleged overpayments, right? Where you got people sitting up there on every case, they calculate the case, they got all the data, and they make a mistake. And some of these mistakes have been going on for decades.
Yep.
And they want these people, not only they're going to cut the pay, but then they want them to pay the money back that they overpaid. Well, I'm thinking that's reverse fraud, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Because if the veteran or his family had given some misinformation in a way that they had got these funds, they would have charged them with fraud. Yeah, but and it wouldn't be no back pay, no nothing. They'd have been just subject to jail, just like everybody else up under the laws of this country. I am sick and tired of seeing incompetence run our government. I want them to serve the same way Kenny had to serve at Fort Gordon, Georgia, where they got Agent Orange and they don't want to talk about it. they don't even want to talk about it. They skirting around the bush and looking at the case as the facts presented. But it's okay, because what we've learned, Kenny, over the past few years, Kenny and Tony, what we've learned over the past few years is that we can get government to represent our issues. Mm. And we've been showcase this for the first time, and since 2015 when we started working on this project. We're gonna have our first Sons of Atlanta Veterans Day 2023. Lunch and learn. We're gonna feed the people that come, and we're gonna learn them how to get along again. Mm-hmm. We're gonna teach them how the U.S. military was able to integrate and still become the most effective force in America. But we got, as part of society is upset with the integration of America. Well, that's their problem, and we need to let them know it's their problem. Our problem is that we have let them infiltrate our governments on every level. And Tony, while we was lobbying and going at the Sons of Atlanta funding and going at the Fulton County Veteran Service Program funding set up, we saw some stuff.
Yes.
With some of these elected officials. I don't want to start calling no names, but some of them folks was in the park, Piedmont Park, with us, right? Mm-hmm. And made all kind of accolades about what they was doing for veterans in Fulton County, and failed to appoint anybody to the commission.
Exactly.
I'm talking facts, Tony.
Yeah.
And that has allowed this commission, right, to be slide. They push, it's set up to do something that it ain't doing right now. But we're not going to lose faith.
No.
Because we know that we're going to start electing people that going to follow the government, do what they supposed to do in the government. That's why we calling all 700,000 plus veterans in the state of Georgia to look at what we getting from our elected officials. Look at the House of Representatives right now.
Oh, yes.
The House of Representatives, the U.S. House of Representatives. I'm gonna let you talk about
that. Therein is a major challenge with the governing bodies in this country. When you have a political party that can't even decide on who is going to represent that part of the government that they're over, and they're designated to handle the business of the government. We're finding ourselves in a situation where we cannot connect and correct and do the business of governing this country because of the lack of leadership within a political party. And it's unfortunate that we as citizens and the country will suffer as a result of that.
And Tom, when you talk about suffering,
yeah.
Listen, if these misfits, and I'm gonna call it what it is, let the government get shut down, it affects every disabled veteran's family.
Yeah.
Because all of our pay comes from the federal government. We don't get nothing from local government. So if we sit by, and 22 million veterans in this country, if we sit, and our families, if we sit by and let these misfits shut down the government, we deserve it.
Yeah.
We deserve it. Because we can vote them out. And we need to let them know that if the government shut down, they need to pack their bags and get ready to go home for good. Yeah. Because we ain't talking about 2024. We got local elections.
Yes.
This year in November, next month. Oh my veterans, we ain't slow.
No.
We ain't that slow. We not that slow. Cause I'm kind of fired up, but I just want to say again, cause I know they ain't gonna be here. I got my fam, part of my family, my closest family, my daughter, my baby. Now she been up my baby all her life, but and then her daughter, and then her sister, her granddaughter. Her granddaughter. That makes her my great granddaughter and a great grandbaby at the same time, man. So I'm blessed today. I just want everybody to know that God is good, and we just had to keep pushing for what we know is right. And what Veterans Talk is all about is bringing information, knowledge and motivation to our community. Because. I'm not the only veteran that served in my family, Tony, and I know you ain't the only veteran that served in your family.
Yep.
And we have got a history of black people serving in the government in this country, and then we get out of the military and they act like we're slow.
Yeah.
They take our benefits. They act like we are not citizens. But we started something in the 60s when they started integrating the military. We just kind of went to sleep on it because we were so good at it in the military, we thought that it would just come over in society, but it didn't. We still got people that want racism and hatred to reign in what they do in this country. But we want to let them know that ain't working no more. That ain't even part of the scenario that we gonna deal with. What we're gonna deal with is we're gonna look at getting the automatic weapons out of the street, right? Because I don't want to never think about my grandbaby going to school and some lunatic got an automatic weapon. I want them out of my community. And I don't think there's a veteran in this country that feels otherwise. And I'm going to tell you something else too. I think most police officers want them out because they got to face that crazy stuff when they go to work. We shouldn't put them in that predicament. But we got politicians that we elected want this kind of stuff going on in our community. And the number one threat to our children today is gun violence.
Gun violence, yes.
we got to make things work, Tony.
Yeah, it is an unfortunate thing that when we went to school, gun violence was the last thing on our concern. But now parents are responsible for teaching their kids what to do in a situation where there is a person in their school, or in the community or on the way to what to do in a situation where there is a person with a gun. Mm-hmm. And the sad part about it is there's an automatic weapon.
It's an automatic weapon.
Those types of weapons literally can destroy a human body, particularly that of a child.
It was designed to do that.
Yes.
Tony. That's what war weapons, that's what I had in Vietnam.
Yeah.
I don't want it in the streets of my hometown. They need to get it out of there, and all those people that we electing, they need to be unelected.
Yeah.
We got a lot of local elections coming up next month.
Yes.
You know, we want everybody to wake up to this.
Yeah.
Wake up to this. Wake up to this. Because, see, these people that we allow, they say that this is okay, shouldn't be in government. They making our community unsafe, and we acting like we don't know no better. We got to know better, act better, do better, and demand better.
Yes.
In our communities, for our families, for our loved ones, because they're the ones at risk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At risk. I'm kind of really upset with veterans because we sit back, we too laid back, Tony.
Yes.
You know, we act like we don't know how government is supposed to function. Think about when you was in the military. Be late for duty.
Yes.
Be late for doing something that you supposed to do. They hit you where you hurt first, right in the pocket.
Right in the pocket.
They take that little money that they give you, and it wasn't much in the beginning, but then now they're gonna reach and get some of that. You was on time all the time.
Yes.
If they told you to go into a firefight where some of your buddies was killed, you still went.
Yes. You know, without even thinking about it, because we learned early to follow orders.
To follow orders.
And by following orders, we did what we were told to do. And by doing that, we also learned how to issue orders.
Yes.
Because as we remained in the military, we were promoted to positions where we were able to issue orders to fellow troops. Mm-hmm. And so it's a learned situation that we're dealing with, particularly with these guns and weapons and instructions on what to do in a situation. I am dumbfounded at the fact that we sit back and casually allow people who are totally unstable, and we know they're unstable, yet we refuse to issue laws that require a simple background check, which indicate a person's ability to handle a weapon.
Well, see, Tony, you got to go back to this here. What do we have government for? Yeah. To protect and serve the people.
Yeah.
See, and we done got away from that. We're not having government that protect and serve the people. We got government, that what they do, they collect the taxes and corruptly spend them.
Yeah.
You know, when I say corruptly spend them, we got a House of Representatives. This is the only entity in our government that raise revenue. Mm-hmm. That's what raise revenue. They can't even raise enough character to select a speaker with some character for the Constitution. Yeah. They got a bunch of misfits up there that only thing they seeking is power over the people. Mm-hmm. You know, and some of them, and it's sad, we got a criminal justice system. Now, I'm going to say this now. That's watching this fiasco. Listen, you know, Tony, you know my background. I've been in some of the roughest prisons in this country. Now, I'm going to tell you a little secret that most people don't think about. The only reason the prisoners stay in prison is because they got a respect for the rule of law. Mm-hmm. That's the only reason they stay in prison. Otherwise, they outnumber the prison guards.
Yes.
And we just saw that in Macon just a few days ago. They got, 10 people guarding 400 some people. and they 4 of them just took advantage and left.
Yeah.
It's going to happen all over this country if they keep these people in office that ain't got no respect for the rule of law. Why would anybody else have any respect?
Yeah.
Especially those that are in destitution, like incarcerations in this country. And let me tell you a little secret, Tony. We got more of our people incarcerated in this country than any other country
in the world. Yes. Yes.
And it's for slave labor.
Yeah.
I hate it. Wait, did I say that?
Yes, you did. But it's a statement of fact. They're getting labor from people, and all they're doing is housing them and feeding them.
And Tony, listen to me. The ugly part about the situation is it's written in their face in the Constitution. It's written in there. Come on up, man. It's written in their face. Come on this side. It's written in the face. It's written in their face in the 13th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. I'm concerned with what we're teaching our people about the Constitution of these United States. In the 13th Amendment, let me just kind of give you a brief description of what that 13th Amendment says. It says this here: slavery shall be abolished based on race, but under the conditions of a felony conviction, you will be subject to involuntary servitude. So all those little kids out there think it's an honor to get locked up and go to prison, what you are doing, you are saying you are willing to be a slave in the face of people that talking about slavery gave us some skills that we can give some other way. Listen, we got to understand that the rule of law is the only thing that holds us together as a civilized society. If we keep going, now this is in my hometown, our hometown. Just 2 weeks ago, it was a killing. 3 young people died, right? Because they got Wild Wild West kind of stuff. They went out to get each other. Yeah. And all 3 of them died. Yeah. The Wild Wild West kind of stuff that we see in our community. This media is driving. I'm gonna tell you, I got a lot of respect for the rap generation, but for the rap music, I my mama wouldn't have let it in her house. I'm just gonna tell you the truth. And I don't want to mine either. But I like the business part of what they brought to the table. Yes. But this other part inspires anger, division, hate, and violence. It's like the devils do. I'm going to go over to him like, what the devil, only mission of the devil is to steal, kill, and destroy. Man. And that's the kind of spirit that's sweeping over our elected officials. They don't care nothing about the people when they get in office. They are committed to a party, the Republicans or the Democrats. Now, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I'm going to just tell you straight up, I have voted for both of them because I believe in the two-party system. And I don't believe that I should be denied some options. Yeah. Now, right now, I'm thinking the Democrats, so weak that they're not enforcing the laws. Because when you got the executive branch of control, that's law enforcement, right? I watched the Attorney General that took almost 2 years to start any kind of real action against the insurrectionists. Yep. I mean, as if allowing the Republicans and these infiltrators to say that this was an acceptable reactment to the government when what they were trying to do was overturn a valid election. And we got to stop acting like, as a people, that we don't know any better. And we got to stop acting like it don't matter to us, because it does matter when you got these people in office that's going to open up just gun stuff in our community. Well, I got to walk in the store and I see little boys with guns hanging out of their pocket. I don't want that in my community no more. And I'm thinking that most civilized people don't want it because, you know, you see it. It's in your face.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be something else if we didn't see it. But Brian Kemp, and I like a lot of things about Brian Kemp. I'm not going to say I don't.
Yeah.
You know, but a lot of things I don't like about it. And what he did with the gun laws in this state is treason to us.
Yes. Yes.
It's a treasonous act against us. And I think we need somebody that's going to overturn those laws.
That's right.
And the way we get those people is this year in November.
Yes.
This year.
Yes.
We can't wait to 2024. The local impact of government hit us way harder than federal government do, except for they mess with my pay. That's where I get my pay from. But otherwise, all the stuff I see comes from state, county, and city government that hits me every day.
Yep.
Yes.
Val, thank you, baby, for coming. I know I'm on my horse right now.
No, I like listening to you. I try to show up and support as much as possible.
You know, but see, what we need, you know, we was talking about what we trying to do with the Sons of Atlanta. You know, you know, this is one of our projects, and it's just one of the projects that we do in the community. But it has become a platform for us to do a whole lot of other stuff because we. For whatever reason, the spirit, Tony said, it was divinely inspired. And I believe that more every day because I see how the Sons of Atlanta have grown and brought people together.
Yes.
And what we're doing, we're remembering those that from our communities, from our families, that paid the ultimate price for the freedoms that we're talking about right now.
Exactly.
You know, the freedoms that not have these automatic weapons in our community. You know, the Sons of Atlanta has become a platform that the city of Atlanta, thanks to Michael Julian Barnes.
Amen. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael Julian Barnes.
Yes.
And then the people that he pulled together, Mary Norwood and the rest of them folks, man, we love you for what you did.
Thank you.
Now, that we can't stop with just building a memorial in the park.
Yes.
You know, that's the starting point. To let everybody know from which we're coming, so they can go down in the park and look at the names, and you know we're gonna have apps so they can look at the pictures. Listen, what breaks my heart mostly when I look at this thing, I forgot I turned 21 in a foxhole in Vietnam, and most of these people died before they turned 21 years old.
My brother was 19.
Yeah, most of them died before they were 21 years old for the freedom that we gonna just let go.
Amen. Can't do it.
I ain't gonna do it. You know, I'm gonna be like John Lewis. I'm gonna make good trouble.
Yes.
You know, because listen, that's the only trouble that's gonna get us out of the trouble we in.
Yep.
That's the only trouble. We got to stop the hate in our community. We got to stop the fear in our community. We got to deal with the mental illness, the traumatization of our community, and there's our children killing each other.
That's right.
Yes.
Every day.
See, and we don't know where it come from. We traumatize them. Integration, segregation was traumatizing.
Yes.
Slavery was traumatizing. You know, trying to integrate this country has been traumatizing because you still had to deal with the slave master's children and their belief that you belong to them some kind of way.
Yep.
You know, and by you wanting to be free and enjoy the same fruits of this country that they think there's something wrong, you getting out of place. You stepped out of your place. But it don't matter. It really don't matter. We just want to let them know we're going to use the power of love to change all of this. Because somewhere I read that love overcometh all things.
That's right.
Somewhere. I believe that too.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
I believe it. So what we're going to do, we're going to continue on this November, next month. We got two major things we kicking off good. We're going to have on the 9th of November, that's on a Thursday, from 10 to 1 o'clock at Club E at 3707 Main Street in College Park. We are having a Veterans Day Lunch and Learn. The Sons of Atlanta Veterans Day Lunch and Learn. Meaning we're going to feed everybody that comes, and we're going to learn about how we're going to memorialize our sons that died in Vietnam in a way that is going to change the landscape in our community. Because we're going to use that spirit of duty and service. Because it wasn't that like it. They died doing duty and service for us.
That's right.
They died doing that. Why can't we work for that?
Exactly.
We need to work for it. It ain't nothing that we already see that we got people that infiltrating the government, want to take over the government. And look at this here. They and Wall, they gonna come up and say humanitarian money, right? I just want to see some humanitarian spending in California and in Atlanta where all these homeless folks at.
Right. Busting them in
I
from
want
out the
homeless.
borders.
That's humanity.
Yes.
Right.
See, we got to get people elected to our governments that gonna take care of the people.
Yeah.
Do the work of the people. Listen, everybody in America pay taxes every day.
Yeah.
Go to the store,
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
and then they gonna say they ain't got them. And then no, they ain't saying they ain't got it. They allocate millions in the name of dealing with homelessness. They just giving it to the pimps. Oh, wait a minute.
You know, did you say that?
I didn't say that. I'm sorry, yo. Man. No, I'm not.
Tell it like it is. Tell it like it is, though.
Yeah.
But see, what we gonna do on the 9th is we gonna have a lunch and learn, and we want the educators there too. So see, one of the things that we're finding out about our sons of Atlanta, a lot of the families are gone,
Yes.
but the schools are still there. So that some of the alumni will be there. So we got to invigorate those entities, you know, to make these communities aware of what they have already paid for the freedoms that they should be enjoying every day. That the politics is climbing up because it's making us think that we don't have enough resources to do away with homelessness. When we do, we wasting the money.
Yes.
You know, we act like we don't have enough resources to deal with the mental illness problems in our community. We do. They just want to keep it where they're going to use mental illness way, like you said, trying to get a mental patient a gun. I don't need no gun. First of all, I'm a mental patient, right? So I don't need no gun.
Yeah.
But it's possible that I can go get a gun.
That's right.
Somebody help me.
Yeah.
You know, that we need the help in our communities that take away the desire to even have a gun.
Yeah.
Where the preachers at?
Yeah.
Well, wait.
No,
Because you are one. Yeah.
Listen, Bear, you need to talk some because I'm gonna say something. In a
Well,
minute.
no, you're doing right. You got to tell it like it is.
Listen.
I mean, you've been doing it all these years, and that's how we gotten this far. Want to compliment you over and over and over, and thank you
Well, you
for
know,
staying on the battlefield.
well, we got to stay on the battlefield, and part of the battlefield now is getting the education apparatus in our community involved. Why do this? Every year, there, and you've seen it over and over again. Every year, at graduation times in our high schools and colleges, our young people are still going into the military.
Exactly.
And they just as naive as me and you were, Tony. Because we ain't stopped to teach them about the opportunities of the U.S. military. We got people on that task force and been in the military, they ain't never had no hazardous duties.
Right.
So they're not capable of understanding
What
that is.
Yeah.
And we got to do that. We got to be able to open up and have these discussions. These people don't even want to hear no discussions about
Some
it.
are retired without it.
Yeah.
All the way.
Retired. Entire career.
Yeah. And what we got to do is make sure that these schools, right? We got to start veterans going into these schools talking with these young folks, especially with the ROTC units, because, you know, I want to salute my grandson and all the young people that's serving today. Because I told this boy when he went in, don't get no infantry MOS. This boy went in and got an infantry MOS. But he was smart enough to get a second MOS. So I'm going to talk about his grandson, you know. But he was smart enough to go get another MOS. But now, in wartime, and let's say this here, let's be truthful about it. When Israel is at war, the United States is at war.
Yep.
We can thank they got FBI, special forces, some more folks on the ground in Israel right now. Our ships are already shooting out missiles out of there.
Yep.
We need to understand that if this expands, and it can, it's very possible, but it's what's going on in Israel to engulf the whole Middle East.
Yes.
And what's going on in Ukraine can invest the whole European. We could be at a world war again.
Yeah, that's why they sending them the ammunitions and money and
Everything.
our resources to them.
Yeah.
And we're part of it.
And we're part of it. And we have to start looking at this because it can be stopped. You know, right now, I'm gonna compliment the current president for being a negotiator.
Yes.
You know, being able to talk and engage in different entities and try to get them to make sense. Because I understand why Israel want to go into Gaza. We want to go into Gaza too. If they attacked America the way that they attacked Israel, you know, I mean that don't make it any wrong. This war when you attack, especially civilians, the terrorists went into Israel and attacked civilians like we haven't seen recently of civilians. So now, you know, the media want to get the response that it's the Palestinians that's going to suffer. Yeah, well, I'm sure everybody in the war zone over there suffered. I've been in the war, and I know that's a zone, that's a thing where everybody suffered equally. I mean, the Palestinians probably suffer more because their leaders, these was elected leaders that did this. This was a government that was never a real government.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was just some people that wanted power over those people. They had the power over them, but what happened? What happened to that? That they would stop caring for the people and developing things for the people and just go attack their neighbor. That's people that want power for the sake of their own perspectives. And we have to get involved in this in a way that it doesn't develop to be another world war. Because this world war would be like no other world war we've ever had because we have nuclear capacities on both sides.
Exactly.
And the people that's got these capacities don't care nothing about poor people. I'm talking about on no scale. I mean, we just got a president that really pushing his party to care more. You know, to do more in the community with. And then you got some people fighting at that. They think $17 or $15 an hour minimum wage is too much when they standing on their yachts.
Yeah.
They got homes in several cities in their state.
And with gas and groceries, everything else going up. But the salary's not going up.
But the salary's not going up. And then to have them, and this is what really offends me a lot, to have some of them want to tell teachers how to teach.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
See, so they want to confine learning to what they want you to know.
That's right.
What they're doing is what we heard them say and try to do is control. They want control. If once they get control and can do whatever they want, then they could care less about the masses. And if we think back, one administration, that was the idea, particularly the person leading that administration. All he wanted was control so that he can control the monies that were being spent by the government and that he was involved in. He wanted to benefit from the monies that the government was spending, and so he pushed this thing of privatization
of government. Thank you, Tony.
And we don't realize how much we are suffering as a result of that, because those people that normally would have made those laws that control that, now it is in the hand of private businesses of which they have no no ability to control and designate and cancel anything. And so we were in a challenging situation.
Indeed.
And the scary part about it is this man wants to be president again.
And then you got a large part of the population that's willing to do it.
Yes.
Now, Tony, let me. You just said something that I got to call veterans out for this, and so they need to know. Trump administration privatized the VA exam process. Kenny is in the audience, like he's here most said. Kenny went to one of these exams, right? Now this is a case that's going right now. He went to the exam, to the business address that they say the exam was to be. Well, it was a business, and they had more than one place for them to report. Well, he just reported to the first place because that was the address. They told him to sit down. He sat down and waited for his name to be called. It wasn't called at the time of appointment. After that, he confronted them, and they said, "Oh, well, you in the wrong place. You need to go upstairs." Right? He get upstairs. They say, "Well, you too late." They denied his claim. Because it's a business.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
It's not the VA. It does not care about his conditions.
Exactly.
And we don't need that in our governments. And bigger than that, you got me on that road. Let me talk about the PAC Act before I get off this here. Listen, the PAC Act, to me, is the greatest step forward in veteran benefits since I've been doing claims, and I've been doing claims since 1975. But it didn't go far enough to cover all veterans. Listen, there are over 15 military bases in this country where they know Agent Orange was handled, used, right? These veterans was exposed to it. They got the same conditions of those of us that went to Vietnam. Same conditions. But because our government has not recognized those locations, they don't get the benefits.
Yep.
But they died, sick, everything.
Everything.
Yep.
And their families suffering too. And that's why we want to get into the school system so we can educate these young people going into the military service and their families to what they are due. So when they come out, they won't be killing themselves.
Yeah.
But the family has to be empowered because this is the one entity that Stan always talk about Lewis. When Lewis Herman, my friend, was going to Vietnam, I went to his going to Vietnam party. He came to mine. We left at different times, but right in the same windows, right? And I didn't know he was dead until I got back home. He died before he turned 21. His birthday was in November, and he died in March. He was killed. No, excuse me. He died in April. He was killed the same month, I think, around the 28th of April. Same month that Dr. King was killed in 1968. These families that are impacted by their loss, I found out that a lot of them just got the one check.
Yeah.
One check.
Yeah.
And
Right here.
They didn't tell the family they was due more. Because see, had your brother been recognized his benefits when he got killed, your daddy or your mama should have got his
Just check. Right. We got one check, like you said.
to the rest of their life.
Yeah, survivor's rights.
And you know what I want to point out too, when you were speaking about when they go into the military not knowing what to the MOS,
Yes.
they put majority of the black people in infantry.
Yeah.
That's the first thing.
And
they put 'em in.
artillery, and infantry,
Right,
and artillery, and supply.
Right.
The most hazardous
Right.
duties you can get. You know,
As soon as war take off, what happens to them?
Right.
they get killed off. And still, we and not just the ones that get killed off, the ones that come back
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
screwed up.
Mentally.
Yeah.
You know, so screwed up that they become a burden on the family and the community
Yep.
because
Sad.
they're not getting the treatments that they rightfully deserve, and that was promised
Yes.
in their service contract. We need what we are doing with the Sons of Atlanta, and we hope we are planting a seed for the rest of Fulton, the rest of Georgia, the rest of the United States. Because see, if you make it local, make all these sacrifices local. You go into Washington D.C., it's 58,000 on one wall.
Yeah.
Where they come from?
All over the country.
The United States, all over the country. And thanks to Barack, most of the major cities have made Vietnam era a special era for attention because of the way we were treated. So you got these memorials all throughout the country now, thanks to Barack, and then Trump re-signed it. But you know, it expires next year, and in 2025. So we'll be having our memorial completed, and hopefully it will inspire the rest of the country to localize the focus and honor the lost in a way that we take back our communities. See, Tony, you know this, Val, and you know this here too. Before your brother went into the military, when we were growing up, we didn't have the violence in Atlanta the way we got in Atlanta.
Oh, no.
You know, I mean, it's sickening when you think about it, man. That my baby, my oldest grandchild, just 13 years old. 13-year-olds are being shot down in the streets of Atlanta. And when I think about it, that her going out somewhere, you know, mom was so controlling, so you didn't go too far. But, you know, when I think about them going out to a party and, you know, 16-year-old party and get killed because of guns availability in our community to people that don't even know how to be responsible going on us.
And you know, in addition, with these young people being, for instance, if you're there when someone is gunned down, it affects the person who witnessed it.
Traumatized.
Yes.
Just like
And
they
they
was on the wall.
teenagers.
Yes.
Exactly.
Just
So they
like
got
was on the
it
wall.
as well. I had that experience with a cousin, little
Just
young
like-
boy. He's
listen.
afraid to go off to college because his best friend was killed in Atlanta Station.
See,
At
so
14.
you know that boy is traumatized for
Yes.
the rest of his life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to a lot of the children that's killing each other.
Yes.
And we see, we need to stop acting like we don't know no better.
Yeah.
That's what bothers me. Preachers,
Yeah.
Yeah.
where's that faith?
Exactly.
Preach their faith. You know, represent their faith in dealing with these problems in our community. We act like we help this. I'm gonna just give it to the Lord.
No.
Faith without work.
Dead.
You know, I don't understand. Well, I'm a trench minister, so I'm kind of different than the rest of these folks. I come out the trenches, and thank God for that. But what we are talking about today, and November the 10th, we'll start the commemorative brickathon again. Now, what this is doing, Tony, is giving everybody. Well, we only have 12,000 slots. We only have, because this is bricks that you can get your name engraved on to put in this memorial in Piedmont Park. You can get your company name, your individual name, the name of a loved one or a veteran that you know want to give. And the bricks start at $100 because we want everybody to have an opportunity to get. But you can get one for $1,000. The more you pay for the brick, the more you can engrave on it. You know, but you can go to the website right now at Sons of Atlanta, sonsofAtlanta.org, www.sonsofAtlanta.org, and buy a brick. Because see, when we start this brickathon next month on the 10th, it's going to be opened up to the whole Fulton County.
Yeah.
And 12,000 brick ain't that many bricks for the number of veterans and families in Fulton County. So we don't expect the bricks to last that long. So if you want a brick, if you want your name in Piedmont Park or the name of a loved one in Piedmont Park, go to Sons of Atlanta right now and order your brick. Val, you got something you want to say to us today?
Well, once again, I'm just here for support. I've been watching you work on this project, and I'm just so happy that it's coming into light, and glad that you're here to be able to see your vision, your dream become a reality. And I was out today at Clark, Atlanta. I got my little gear on where I was at the, y'all know if y'all can see it, Clark, CAU, at Clark College Homecoming Hall of Fame member, and I was there and I was advocating. So we got some resources I will tell you about later after this program, and headed out to meet with my niece with Atlanta Public Schools when we leave from here. And so I just need to get all the details from you, but I want everyone to go out and get that brick, come out on November the 9th in College Park, be supportive of Sons of Atlanta, because we really need everyone's help to make Atlanta people aware of what's going on in our communities, recognize the fallen soldiers, and just let us try to get Atlanta great again.
Now, what? Tony, go ahead.
No, y'all, you.
Okay. See, what Bear didn't say is I met Bear because she was doing a memorial in her backyard for her brother. And to me, that's when I fell in love with Bear, because wasn't nobody else doing it. Nobody that I know of doing that kind of. Well, no, I'm going to say that. It's on the other side of town.
Well, Vietnam.
Well, I'm going to say on the other side of town they do. You know, because me and Tony been the one where they uprooted it from one place and put it on another. And it was a beautiful thing.
Yes, yeah.
And so, but the thing about our memorial, this memorial, it is not about white, black, whatever. Right. It's about every young man that went into the military and was killed during that time period. And no matter what the color of their skin, because we know what I learned in Vietnam, all of us bleed red.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw a lot of carnage in Vietnam, and I have never seen anybody bleed nothing but red.
Yeah.
And that's what we got to recognize. We got to recognize that we're all God's children.
That's right.
You know, no matter where we come from or what we look like. We got to overcome this spirit in our community that want us to be still separated some kind of way, still at odds with each other about the resources of America, when 2%ers, 2%ers controlling 90% of the wealth. And in order for us to overcome that inequity, we got to come together as we the people.
That's right.
That's what the Constitution gave us.
Yep.
We need to start using it. The vote is our most powerful instrument to get good government. And I'm going to say this here. I've been in a few places and I've studied governments all over the world. We got the best system.
Oh, yes. Definitely.
So we got a lot to be thankful for. And so when I don't want nobody thinking that veteran talk is beating up on the veteran. No, I'm a patriot, y'all. I ain't got no problem with saying it. And, you know, I know that I'm sitting beside patriots, right? I know that. And I know this, 85 to 95% of the people in my community today are still patriots, even though some of them, they done gave up. Some of them just done gave up. But they still are patriots. They still go to work every day. They still try to raise their children and do the right thing. But they're up against the governments right now that have been infiltrated and taken over by forces that are not for the people, all the people. When you get a politician start talking about he got a base, be careful. So that means he's going to represent a base.
Yeah.
No, we ain't got no base. When you become an elected official in this country, you represent all the people. Everybody can't get what they want all the time. But that's why you want negotiations between the parties of the people that's operating our government. But when you get to a point where you got people in government that can't even get along well enough to run the government, we sleeping on our job. We electing the wrong folks. We got stagnation in our governments today because we are not using the power of our vote. Just pure and simple.
And we got to get out and vote too.
And let me tell you something. I wish I could invoke the spirit of Albert E. Love.
Yes.
Albert E. Love. Yeah, man, you know, rest in peace, my brother. But he taught me more about how to push our votes than any one person I ever met, and he was a veteran. He's a veteran and a patron that helped build a donut. I believe.
Yes.
You know, I know he wouldn't be all that happy with some of the stuff that he see out of the politicians that's being elected around in the donut. You know, when you got sisters that are on county commissioners or city commissions, and they getting date rape drugs at a club, and you got a mayor in one place that they you know, well, look at your vote. Bet the people you're voting for.
Exactly.
Get to know them.
Yes.
You know, you got to go out and spend some time with them. When they rally in the community, ask them some questions. Bet them. Well, you need to know how they going to attack some of the problems in the community. Not that, you know, whether they for abortion or not. That ain't nothing that they need to be for. What they need to be for is respecting the Constitution.
That's right.
Because that is a woman's right under the Constitution. I don't know how we got that far. But see, what we trying to do, we got some people that's trying to regulate morality. And that's different in God's place.
Yeah.
You know, that's different in God's place when we start trying to make people do what we feel like they should do, and being a hypocrite with it.
Yeah.
You know, because most of these people telling they are right to lifers, they don't care nothing about children because they don't want to feed them when they're here. They don't want to make sure the parents can take care of them while they're here. So we need to stop these people with their hypocrisy and get our community back on track to growing to be the best that it can be, because we got some outstanding young people in this country, but the media make us think that all of them are bad. Val, you just went over there to Clark College with some of the most outstanding young folks I know.
Yes.
We had a good time this morning too.
See, and that's because of the alumni and the sororities that have been developed around the HBUs, and they continue to keep it out there as a viable institution because there was none.
That's right.
before.
That's right. And you know, Atlanta has the best HBCU.
Listen,
We got the cream of the crop.
you.
Statistic even states that.
Yes, Clark Atlanta, Morehouse, you know, Spelman,
And
Morris
Morris
Brown
Brown,
had a few problems, but it's trying to come back.
Yes.
You know, because what you just said it, man. We had some of the cream of the crop, and then that's because we had some great leaders that coming out.
Yeah, they came out of those universities and colleges.
And you know, the major factor that we need, and we need to probably hit on with Clark Atlanta, social work, because we were #1 HBCU school.
Now you know what, you hit on something.
We gotta get to the social workers.
Listen, let me tell you something. I believe this, if Atlanta would start housing all these people in some of these buildings that they got right now, and get Clark Atlanta social workers to help them,
That's right.
they'd have half of these people back and working in the working world within a few
So we gotta get
weeks.
them.
Within a few weeks.
Yeah.
You know, see what done happened. We got people that ain't taking care of all the people, so they're not using the government money right. They're not using the government money right. And we got to get them folks out of our government.
Yep.
Because, see, we're the ones suffering. We're the one that's in our community watching all this carnage with young people that's been traumatized and should be in the treatment when they in school. But they're not giving the schools enough money to do that.
Yeah.
You know, to make sure that these kids that they see, and the teachers see them every day.
Yeah.
But they can't do nothing about it because they ain't got the resources there.
They don't have the resources, and a lot of times their hands are tied.
Yeah, by
What they
regulations.
can say and what they can teach.
That we got to get that mess out of the school.
And the challenge there is schools are to educate.
That's right.
You know, they're there to provide them with information so that they can make logical and correct decisions. But if you choose to limit the information that they are receiving while being taught, how can they make sound decisions and sound
Plans.
How, you know,
You don't know how to plan. If you don't plan, you can't succeed.
Yeah. And it is unfortunate that we find ourselves in this situation. And we find ourselves in this situation because, what you said earlier, we aren't vetting the people we're electing into office.
And then something else too, Tony. We got to start encouraging some of these people that think they can't do that to run for office.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
See, we got too many brilliant people in our community that could be serving our community. They'll get in, but then they start, when you start, I said, well, why don't you run for office? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
No, you can't do no better than what we got.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See, so we got to not only vet the ones that's running, we got to encourage some to, so we have greater choices.
Yeah.
Because we got some brilliant young people and old people too in our community that could be leading us out of this carnage that we're suffering every day.
Right.
I'm it's sometimes when I think about it, when they first went back to school, Val, and when she told me she was, you didn't meet my great grandbaby, but this was her first year in high school. I was scared. I said, damn.
Yeah, really.
That's the first thing I said. I'm thinking about, these little boys with the guns hanging out the
Yes.
I don't want them around my baby.
Really. Yes.
But, she's going to high school.
Yes.
Well, you need to be concerned.
Yeah.
We got to do better. And I'm saying it's the veteran community got to lead this way.
Mm-hmm.
We got to lead this way because we know how government can function and how it's supposed to function. We are shining examples of in doing it to a good discharge.
Yeah.
To a good discharge. So I want to thank you. Next week, we'll be back here doing the same thing we're doing this week. You can like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. And please share us with any and everybody that you know that got a child in the military or about to go to the military. We want to talk to them.
See you next week.
Next week. Next week.
Get a brick.
Yes, get a break.